Hey guys, Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We are back with more severe weather coverage here. It is 7:07 p.m. in the evening on March 25th, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning now that clips the southwestern side of Williamson County, and that's going to be in effect until 7:30 p.m. So this is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as a part of this line that's now coming in through southeastern Hickman County, northwestern Murray County, and is going to be moving into southwestern Williamson County here in just a few minutes. So that's what we've got here. Severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30 tonight. Now, you know, we need to be treating these things pretty seriously because as we saw earlier today, the severe thunderstorms can produce some pretty nasty winds, right? So we saw this storm earlier go right through Williamson County, straight up through the middle and just east of downtown Nashville up in Davidson County, and produce quite a bit of damage, okay? And that was from a severe thunderstorm. So we need to keep in mind that these things can produce some pretty strong wind gusts. So let's not discount a severe thunderstorm warning, okay? So, all right, this is where the storm is now. You're looking at radar, and you see your polygon here. So this polygon is going to cover basically southwest of Franklin. It's going to cover some fairly rural areas of Williamson County out toward Greenbrier, Boston, Kingfield, Smarden, some of those communities down there along 840. And then it's going to stretch on over into Thompson Station and Spring Hill as well. So it's going to cover most of the neighborhoods there around Summit High School and down to the southwest there in Spring Hill and Thompson Station as well. So that's where the warning includes. Franklin, you're not included in the warning right now. Triune, Nolensville, Arno, College Grove, you folks down there are not included yet. Brentwood, and then none of Davidson County is included right now. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to TBNA. This is radar out of Nolensville, and there it is right there. And this gives us usually a fairly good read on velocities. And so we see that there are we see some bright colors here. These are perhaps some 55 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts as a part of that line down there in Murray County coming into Williamson County. So these are some hail reports from earlier that are popping up there. But let me see if I can turn those off. Maybe not. That's fine. So that's these are some gusty winds that could be pushing up into Williamson County here shortly. Let's do this. I'm going to switch over and look at the Weather Service radar. Let's run over there and look at that, and we're going to look at velocities on the Weather Service radar as well. All right, so strong winds out ahead of this line. These are gusty winds up in the atmosphere here at about 3,300 feet, and those are running at about 60 miles an hour. So at least out ahead of the rain here just a little bit. Could be some strong gusty winds that are right out ahead of the rain, and then as the rain comes in, it could bring some of those down to the surface as well. Okay, so that could be where we get some of our strong gusty winds, is that the winds that are up aloft that are really blowing pretty hard above our heads could be brought down to the ground with some of that high precipitation as this wall of water moves east and to the northeast. So if you're just joining us here, severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30 for southwestern Williamson County. This does not include Franklin, at least the middle of Franklin. It includes Thompson Station back to the southwest. It does include Leapers Fork. It includes Boston, Smarden, and hopefully you can't hear my beagle dog, but he's going crazy in the other room. Sorry about that. But the Pinewood Road exit on 840, Greenbrier, Smarden, Boston, Garrison Springs, Burwood, over into Thompson Station. So that's where the polygon covers right now. So we got to keep an eye on this, as we were mentioning just a little bit earlier. This is where we have one of these severe thunderstorm events, and it's just kind of like what we had earlier today. We had a strong storm, a severe storm come up from Murray County, go straight through Williamson County on up into Davidson County, and had a line of straight line winds right on the front edge of that with the hail, and some pretty impressive damage from that little storm as it moved right up through both counties all the way through Sumner County. So what I'm saying is we can't discount the wind threat with these we've got to understand that these can be a problem with winds and hail. All right, so let's jump back over. We're going to jump over to our other radar here. Got a few things going here we're looking at, and we're watching what's going on down to the southwest as well. I've got a new radar sweep coming through. Take a look at that. These storms are moving pretty slow. They're pushing to the east fairly slowly. It's not like that one earlier that was blowing through here at about 70 miles an hour. This one's moving a little bit slower, and it's taking its time. All right, so backing out here, let me show you what's back to the southwest. You may have noticed on some other graphics, if you're on Twitter or some other place, you're seeing this tornado warning down to the southwest of us for Perry and Lewis and counties down there. There is a storm that's rotating down there. Going to keep an eye on it for a little bit later, but it's not imminent in our area right now. All right, let's take a look at velocities here. Yeah, the strongest winds here look to be right out ahead of the line, and I'm thinking what probably is happening here is that the heavy rain is pulling some of those real strong winds out ahead of the line up in the atmosphere. It's pulling those down to the surface, and that's where probably the strongest threat of wind is going to be is in this the heaviest rain here as it slowly pushes to the east. All right, so let's do this. What we're actually looking at here is, I think, probably the strongest part of this cell is down here in Hohenwald, and it's probably what prompted the warning in the first place. And so the strongest part of the storm is probably down here. And they have it pushing off to the northeast rather. So I kind of see what they're doing here, and so if you extrapolate out, you can see that the storm would be around Franklin at about 7:50, something like that. So here in about 30 minutes or so, and down in Greenbrier at about 7:38. Smarten area, Garrison Springs here at about 7:40. So about 25 minutes until the worst part of that line gets to you. So it's gonna rain. Here's the rain view, and it's gonna rain before that. Strongest part of the storm, though, if it's heading northeast, that could be what affects you with as far as the strongest part of it. So it could be raining for a while. All right, that's one thing we're talking about here, and it looks like they actually, I'm looking at some notes here from the Weather Service. Looks like they're continuing the severe thunderstorm warning here. And what they've actually done is they've also included a tag here as a part of the severe thunderstorm warning. They've included a tag that says tornado possible. Okay, so what that means is that it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's possible that something could spin up. Something has their attention in it. Something could possibly spin up as a part of that cell. And so they're watching that very closely. So they have included a tornado possible tag within the text of this severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so the part that they're watching is right down here in Hohenwald, and that's moving northeast through this polygon. Okay, so that's the part of it specifically that we'll be watching. And I'm going to switch over here, and we get a little bit of a better view of velocities. They're watching this little area right here, and it seems at the moment to be broad. It doesn't seem to be a tight area of rotation, but it's enough to where they say, hey, we're just going to keep an eye on it. We're going with a severe thunderstorm warning for now, and if this thing gets more interesting as time goes along, they've just kind of given us a heads up. So that's what that is right there. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30, and we're going to keep an eye on this area right here specifically over the next little while. So I'm looking over on TBNA. It doesn't have a great read on it yet. It's very noisy. So we will come back to that if we need to. Okay, going back here, let's do a little bit of a storm track here. This is using some of the Weather Service information on their timings, and looks like it could be around Spring Hill about 7:45. Could be around Garrison Springs around 7:40. To tell you what, we're going to do our different storm track on this. So they're saying it's moving at Let's see what speed this thing is moving at. It says it's moving at 75 miles per hour. So let's do this. Let's extrapolate this out. And that's, it's moving so fast. So I tell you what we're going to do. Let's give this a rough, let's do this at about 50 for right now. It's looking like it could be around, Garrison Springs around 745, 750, somewhere around in there. And similar for Thompson Station, Spring Hill, somewhere around 750 or so, 755. So that's what we're looking at there as far as timings go. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on this, and a lot of you have joined us just here in the past couple of minutes, and so let me reiterate kind of what we're looking at here. A lot of you are getting rain and storms, and I see really probably a couple hundred of you have joined just in the past minute or so. So let's kind of go over what we're looking for here. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 7:30 for the southwestern side of Williamson County, and this includes communities like Greenbrier, specifically talking about Williamson County, the Pinewood Road exit of 840, Kingfield, Boston, Greenbrier, there's a community named Smarden down here near the Natchez Trace, Burwood, areas like that. And if you extrapolate out, you see Franklin there, and you are not currently in the warning, but Spring Hill and Thompson Station are. So we're watching an area of strong thunderstorm down here in Lewis County that's moving northeast, and that's what we're watching most of all right now. And if we look at velocity, you see an area maybe just of some ever so slight and broad rotation there. And we're going to keep an eye on that as it moves to the northeast. But for now, a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of 60 mile per hour winds. And they're saying 3/4 inch hail. So that would be non-severe hail. Unless it's an inch in diameter, it would be considered non-severe. So the threat here is really for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, as this area here moves off to the northeast. So that would be this area here in yellow. All right. So as that moves to the northeast, that is where that's what they're watching specifically. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go over and look at TBNA real quick. See what we're looking at as far as winds. Could be some gusty winds right there on the western side of Murray County. And so not seeing anything too crazy as far as rotation goes. So again, we're under a severe thunderstorm warning. It is not a tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm warning right now. But there could be some really gusty winds there on the front end of this rain, especially the section of it that's over Murray County right now, but that's moving northeast into Williamson here shortly. So that would be right in here around where Duck River is, right in here. All right, so that's sliding up this direction. So heavy rain moving through Williamson County right now. It is considered non-severe, but man, is it electrical. So a lot of lightning strikes all the way up into Bellevue. Let me turn off that significant weather advisory. That might be a little easier to see things. But you got a lot of lightning stretching from Bellevue, Pasco, Natchez Trace Bridge, all the way just there east of Fairview along Old Harding Road. That's Fernvale right out in there. And then a lot of lightning on down all the way through 840, and maybe even some very small hail, again, non-severe hail at this point in southwestern Williamson County, and then lightning there in the northwestern part of Murray County. So there's, it's a noisy storm, a lot of rain, a lot of water coming down pretty quickly. It doesn't seem to pack the punch, at least at this point as far as hail goes, that the one earlier did that came up through Williamson and Davidson counties. This doesn't look to be the hailer that one was, and so that's good news. But it could have some gusty winds, especially back down here in western Murray County, and that's pushing up to the northeast. All right, so still a whole lot of folks have joined us just in the past few minutes here. So let me reiterate, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I want to be sure we all understand we're all on a level playing field and know what's going on. So let me go back to a different radar here, a little bit easier to see. So there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7:30 for the southwestern part of Williamson County, and this includes Boston, the beautiful community of Boston down in the southwestern part of Williamson County off of 840. So Kingfield, the Pinewood Road exit is there on 840. Greenbrier and Boston and Smarden and areas like that. You guys are included in the severe thunderstorm warning that includes the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as this heavy rain comes through, and as it's possible that especially some of these heavier downpours could bring down some of those heavier winds from the atmosphere above, where the winds are blowing pretty hard. All right, so the National Weather Service gives us a note here to pass along to those in the Nashville metro area, and they're saying that storms are incoming. In fact, the storms up here in the metro are knocking on the door of 440, coming in Charlotte Pike and areas west of town, the neighborhoods. They're on the west sides of Nashville. And Weather Service says storms are incoming. No reports yet from the storms to your southwest. All right, so they haven't heard of any damage reports or anything from the storms within the warning box, but they say stay vigilant and watch closely for warnings that could become possible up in the metro area. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And they are also noting that they are concerned about the rotation down here in Wayne County. Again, this is not an imminent threat to Williamson County, but we're watching it down here in Waynesboro. They're increasingly concerned about the rotation down there in Wayne County, and note that the rotation is looking a little bit better off of the radar and up in the Weather Service office in Nashville. Sure enough, so it just kind of give you an idea of what we could be looking at today and tonight. These storms can spin pretty easily, okay? So, again, this is not in Williamson County. This is down in Wayne County, but I just want to illustrate for you kind of what we're looking at. You see these bright or really dark blues here up against the greens. This is an area of rotation that the Weather Service is noting down in Wayne County. So, again, not an imminent threat to Williamson County, but we're going to keep an eye on that because, hey, it's kind of been what we've been talking about the past few days. That kind of stuff is possible today. So we're gonna keep watching that. Severe thunderstorm warning continues till 7:30. Let me mention this. Y'all did. I cannot tell you how much of an awesome job y'all did earlier dealing with the with reports. I mean, we were just amazed with how many reports were coming in on that T-spotter feed. It really was phenomenal. You guys were sending in pictures, and you were doing it right. You were comparing the hail size with a coin, and it was just, I mean, it was really great. I mean, you guys did a really good job sending in those reports. So let's do it again. If you see something that's worth reporting down there in southwestern Williamson County or anywhere else in our two counties, and you see that you need to report hail or winds or something that is believed to be severe, tweet that and use the hashtag T-Spotter, and we get that. We saw all of those reports that came in that you sent in earlier today, and they were tremendously useful to us and for the Weather Service. So let's do that again. Let's keep that up. Y'all did a great job with that, and we'll do that again if we need to with this round of storms coming in. I'm going to mute 1 second, and I'll be right back. All right, back with you here as we continue watching this severe thunderstorm polygon. Checking notes from the Weather Service, nothing new really from them on this. Let's go down and look at perhaps some velocities here. And again, yeah, we're still seeing the possibility where there's just really strong wind out just barely ahead, just right ahead of this line. And we're seeing that those could be brought down to the ground by that heavy rain. And so that's entirely possible and something we're going to watch for up and down the line. But it's hard to pick out one specific area that is seeing the strongest winds. So really anywhere up through Greenbrier, Boston, or Beechwood Plantation, Kingfield, those folks need to you know, probably be watching for some pretty strong winds. So I'll be away from windows and that kind of thing in case that comes through, and those winds are brought down to the surface. So Weather Service especially concerned now down in Waynesboro, and no need to be concerned here in Williamson County right now as far as that tornado warned storm down in Waynesboro, but we'll be watching it. But they are especially concerned about that cell down there. So we're gonna see how that evolves later. But for now, we've got this line here coming through. A lot of heavy rain. I tell y'all, if y'all are wanting to travel this evening, I really would wait. I mean, there's just a lot of water coming down here in a pretty short amount of time, but it's not really moving all that fast. So it's just kind of taking its time moving east. So I would really wait a while for... until you venture out and drive down the interstate and all that kind of stuff. It could have some ponding on the roadways and that kind of thing. That is entirely possible. And a lot of the hills and hollows out here in southwestern Williamson County, and it's pretty easy for that water to just run straight into those streams from the hills down there. And a lot of those hills go right beside a lot of these hills go right beside these roads. Excuse me, a lot of the creeks go right beside the roads down here. So it's entirely possible that that we could get some flooding if this rain hangs around. So severe thunderstorm warning now for, that is actually a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for Hickman, Lewis, Murray, and Williamson. And that looks awfully similar to the other one, but it's a new one that's come out, and that's until 8 p.m. So this one gets, they look pretty similar. The other one is expiring, okay? So one of these will go away in about 2 minutes. All right, so, and then another one that looks very similar to it was just issued and will hang around, and it covers all the way up to just about Franklin, or in parts of southwestern Franklin. All right, so this is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Non-severe hail with this one, at least at this point, but the warning mentions 60-mile-per-hour winds. So new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for another 30 minutes. That's until 8 p.m. One of these warnings will drop away here in the next couple of minutes. And then this other polygon that was just laid out will take over, and that'll carry us through 8 o'clock, another 30 minutes or so. And that is going to be our new severe thunderstorm warning for a while. So they are noticing, and they're sort of outlining that the strongest area of wind could be down in this area in western Murray County, and like where Hickman and Lewis and Murray come together. So kind of right where that arrow is. That's where the strongest area of wind could be, but they're kind of noting that's kind of the bullseye of where they're laying out in the warning that the strongest wind could be. Okay, so that's that's pushing to the northeast. Now, what they've done is they've also added the tornado possible tag to this. Again, so and there's your one polygon dropped off now, and one remains. So they've added that tornado possible tag in there, which means that it's possible something could spin up in this line. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that. Report of a wind gust in Fairview near 840. So along 840, Interstate 840, there are some strong winds as a part of this line. So that's good to know. That could mean that really the winds do pick up in this line. We were talking just a moment ago about the possibility that the winds up in the atmosphere could be brought down to the surface by these heavy rains, and that seems to be probably what is happening there. Some strong wind gusts there in western Williamson County as the line pushes east. All right, so that kind of confirms that we do have a wind issue and with this line. So as it pushes east toward Franklin, I would be away from windows. I'd be, definitely inside. Don't be outside with it at all, but I'd be inside or away from windows, and would not be near any big trees and that kind of thing, anything that could come down in a strong straight line wind. Kind of like we saw, if you saw the pictures up in Nashville a little bit earlier today, and you saw the trees come down, and you don't want to be really in the way of those if the wind really gets blowing and brings down heavy branches or trees. So just kind of find yourself away from all of that, away from windows, and that's kind of how to handle these straight line wind events. So This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock. So we had one in effect until 7:30, and that has expired, and now there's one till 8 that basically just took over the one that was there. So I'm going to pull up the Oak Hill camera here for us. Oak Hill up here is about to go through a car wash pretty much. They are not included in the severe thunderstorm warning, but Oak Hill is about to get quite a bit of water. So we have the Oak Hill camera sitting over here off to the side. We're watching it. We're watching a couple of others. In fact, so quite a bit of lightning there. And then as we look at the Midtown camera here, this is one we looked at earlier that was just completely whited out, and with hail and heavy rain and wind as that earlier storm came through. And now here's a look at the Midtown camera looking east toward downtown. A lot of lightning there. Very heavy rain moving through downtown right now. So hope all of y'all going to the Preds game got inside in time and not out in this right now, because it is not fun being out there. So heaviest rain, I'm looking at radar off on another screen. Heaviest rain pushing through downtown right now and is inside the interstate loop, the interstate loop, 24 and 40, and is now pushing on into East Nashville. But as you can see here in Midtown, it's coming down pretty hard. So there's the Oak Hill camera there. And then we'll jump back over to radar here real quick and check out what's going on. So this is a view of downtown, a lot of reds, oranges, and stuff like that. So it's pretty heavy rain, but doesn't look nearly like the storm we had earlier in Davidson County. So hopefully just some heavy rain with that. Moving on back down the line, we get into our yellow polygon. That's a severe thunderstorm warning there that's in effect until 8 o'clock. And once again, that covers areas like the Natchez Trace Bridge and off to the south. So areas like Fernvale, Kingfield, Boston, Greenbrier, Thompson Station, Spring Hill, Henpeck Lane, that goes out toward Leapers Fork. And then your western neighborhoods of Franklin are included as well. All right, so that's where we could have some strong winds, and even have had a couple of reports of strong winds there along 840 going out toward Fairview. All right. So seeing a few reports come in. This is a video that I'm looking at off to the side of over there in Cool Springs. A lot of lightning there, and we'll go over here to the Oak Hill camera, and you'll see that. Quite a light show going on there in Oak Hill. This is right along Franklin Road on the south side of downtown if you're new to the area. In fact, let's talk a little bit about if you're new to the area. There's a lot of people that are new to the area. So let's talk about that just a second. Let's go over here to our map, all right? So if you live in Davidson County, you're considered to be in Nashville, all right? All of Davidson County is included, or is Nashville. That's Nashville Metropolitan Nashville. That's Davidson County, all right? So there are communities and smaller cities within Davidson County, like Joelton, Goodlettsville, Oak Hill is down here, Belle Meade is down here in southwestern Davidson County. All right, but if you're in Davidson County, you're essentially in Nashville, okay? So, and then down in Williamson County, you have Franklin. Franklin is the main city in Williamson County. Don't get offended, Fairview and Nolensville, but Franklin is the county seat there. And so then you got Fairview off to the west. That's sort of the furthest west, kind of larger town, city there in Williamson County. And then off to the east, you have Nolensville, kind of the same way Fairview is on the west side. Nolensville's over on the east side. All right, so if you live there, you haven't gotten to the rain yet. You'll get there soon. It's moving into Franklin now. Boston's a beautiful community. You got to drive out there on a Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful area out there, and they are included in the severe thunderstorm warning now. You see Indy High School here. That's near where 840 and Columbia Pike cross, Highway 31. That's where Independence High School is. And so if you kind of get an idea of where you are, we've been talking about that today, get an idea of where you're located on the map. Of course, you're up here in Brentwood. Brentwood stretches a lot more east-west than it does north and south. All right, so if we give ETAs to Brentwood, that's to the middle of Brentwood, but really it's coming into the west sides of Brentwood now. And the east sides of Brentwood are right over here against Nolensville near Waller Road. Okay, so it's kind of hard to nail down exactly where Brentwood is because it's so wide. It's not quite as tall, but it goes a long ways from east to west. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning looks like it's being canceled here for Williamson County. We're going to see if that disappears off our map. And it looks like going over to TBNA and checking, it looks like it has. So we're going to go ahead and expect, and there it goes. It just disappeared. So the severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled early, about 20 minutes early for Williamson County. We're watching very closely, and I'm just going to leave us with this. We're watching very closely down to our southwest where there could be there's a pretty serious situation down there. It sounds like it could be a storm capable of producing a tornado down far to our southwest, but a new tornado warning just came out there for Lawrence, Lewis, Murray, and Wayne. So I know Murray County borders us here in Williamson County. This is for southwestern Murray County, so we're going to keep an eye on that and see how that evolves. But it's generally headed perhaps our direction. For southeastern Williamson County, but we are not under any warnings right now in Williamson County. We'll be back if anything's issued here, but we're going to jump off of here, grab a drink of water, and we'll be back on YouTube Live if we need to, if any warnings are issued for Davidson or Williamson counties.